Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here, the Lab Coats on Backorder, and welcome back to our Pokemon TCG Live Online Match Series, week number 68. Had to check my records and see what week is this, because I often forget the number. And we're going to get into the deck building part of the video in just a moment, but I'm going to take a moment to talk about what's going to start happening next week if things work out well. I'd like to start doing those viewer battles I've been talking about against some folks out there that play Pokemon TCG online, featuring some decks that you guys are assembling out there. And the idea I have for this is probably Sundays are going to be the best days that I have to record. I can sit down, record for a few hours, and do some matches against some folks out there. The idea for the format is going to be sort of like in a official Play Pokemon event, where we'll do like best 2 out of 3. And I'll show off those battles as such. And sometimes I'll be bringing back some of my classic decks. Other times I'll be using some sort of other ideas in mind. And I'll give you sort of a teaser at the end of this video what kind of a deck I'm going to be assembling, or at least the Pokemon it's going to focus on. So the idea is I'll do either or I'll do both. I'll put a post on Twitter, I guess a tweet on Twitter. I'm still getting used to the Twitter lingo. But I'll give a tweet out on Twitter saying when I'm looking for battles, and I'll also do a quick little video upload and let you know through YouTube as well. At that point, when you see that tweet or video, just come onto a Pokemon TCG Online and see if you can link up with me. My username is Dotman64, so feel free to add me in there. And on Sunday, this coming Sunday, which is the 15th of January, I'll start I'm thinking around 3 o'clock-ish. Atlantic time, and if you're not sure what time that is, basically once you see the video or the tweet, for a few hours after that point, I'll be doing some battles online and trying to get some cool video footage featuring some of you folks out there for the battles as well. So let's talk about the deck this week. It's called Energy Storm. It is a request and suggestion from a viewer by the name of Josiah Guerrera, which, by the way, I've left you a couple of comments. I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but I have a code card that's been waiting for quite some time to hand over to you, Josiah, if I can get some contact info for you so I don't have to send it through a public message on YouTube. People could see the code. If I can get some sort of private message to you, or somehow like either email or Twitter, that'd be awesome. I can give you that code. It is actually the code for the Genesect collection of the Mythical Pokemon collection from back in, what month was that? It's one of the Pokemon 20 things from last year, so I've got that code ready and waiting. I just got to get some contact info and send that to you. But Josiah Guerrera, if I'm pronouncing that right, has suggested making a deck featuring the Psychic-type Gallade. Now, usually I focus on using standard format decks. This time's going to be an expanded format deck because the Psychic Gallade in question is actually rotated out of standard format, but as you'll see when we bring up the deck list here, it's going to be usable in the expanded format. So let's expand the viewer here. So the Gallade in particular, as the computer decides to lag out a little bit, is right here, 140 HP. The first attack is the one we're going to try to focus on, Powerful Storm for 2 colorless energy. This does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So the more energy you have across your field, the more power Gallade can put out with Powerful Storm. That is basically self-explanatory. We're not going to really use Swift Lunge, I don't think, because we're trying to focus on making Powerful Storm as powerful as we can. And Swift Lunge, if we need it though, I suppose, 80 damage, and you switch the defending Pokemon, or the opponent switches the defending Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon, so might be useful, but as I say, we're going to try to do some one-hit KOs using Powerful Storm. I've got 2 Gallade in the deck, and you'll see I threw a random assortment of Ralts and Kirlia in here just to evolve up to it. I've got 3 of various types of Kirlia, 4 different types of Ralts in here as well, just for evolution purposes. But I've also tossed in Gardevoir from is that Ancient Origins, or I think that's Ancient Origins. This Gardevoir, 130 HP, Fairy type, mainly here for the ability, Bright Heal. Once during your turn, before your attack, you may heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. So I can sort of keep her on the bench, her or him. It's any gender. Of course, Gallade is only male, but I can keep Gardevoir. Is that actually the shiny Gardevoir? I don't know, it might just be weird lighting. But with Gardevoir on the bench, I can heal 20 from the active Gallade, putting out some more Powerful Storm damage every single turn. That is going to be the line of Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir / Gallade in the deck. And the idea I want to do for energy acceleration, there's many ways you can accelerate your energy. One thought could be perhaps Magnezone with Magnetic Circuit, drop as many lightning energy per turn as you like, but I'm going to give Parasect a try. I've used this Pokemon in a Ho-Oh-EX deck that I put together a while back. The first attack, Colorful Spores. Choose 3 of your Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, search your deck for a different type of basic energy card and attach it to that Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterward. So if I have enough Pokemon in play, I can leave Parasect active for as long as it can survive some hits, get as much energy out of the deck as possible, power everybody up, and if I'm able to get a Gallade up in the active spot at some point, either with a retreat cost or a switch card, something like that, or if Parasect just simply gets knocked out, then I can bring up Gallade, who will have so much energy already assembled on my side of the field. Powerful Storm could be doing upwards of, like, say, almost 200 damage I've gotten it up to in testing. I've got 2 Parasect and 3 Paras to evolve up from. And that's going to be our 15 Pokemon for the deck. Now, if need be, Parasect could do 30 damage, possibly 60 with X-Scissor. But again, I gotta sort of accept the fact that as much as I do like Paras for its design and how cool it is and the effect that it has with getting more energy out, I'm gonna have to let it fall. The idea is, its job is to get the energy out on, non-stop. In testing, I've done some things where, like, I've retreated it to bring up Gallade, but then I'm a little bit short on the energy. So Parasect, you might be a sacrificial lamb, but we'll see what happens. You never know. I could escape rope out of there or something like that. Let's scroll down to the very strange assortment of energy, as you'll see. I've got 3 basic Fairy, 3 basic Fighting, 3 basic Fire, 2 basic Grass, and 3 basic Psychic. The reason for all those different colored energy is because, of course, Colorful Spores. There's no rainbow in that. Colorful Spores, choosing 3 different types of basic energy. Once I've chosen a Fairy type energy attached to something, then I can't choose a second Fairy type using this attack. I can choose a different kind of energy. So you might be thinking, what's the point of the Fire and the Fighting? Well, you'll see that as we get to the trainer cards. So first up, we're going to check out the, that was 14 energy, 31 trainer cards, starting with 2 basic energy retrievals. We have an escape rope for maneuvering around the field. We've got 2 Evo Sodas to evolve some of our Pokemon up to their next stage. 2 level balls to find any Pokemon of 90 HP or less, so everything except the Gallade, Gardevoir, or Parasect I can draw with that level ball. I've got 2 Professor's Letters to draw some basic energy out. I'm going to try a couple of random receivers. What was the reason I put that in? Oh, the reason I put that in is if I want to try to find Wally, I'll have 2 Wally in the deck, as you'll see in a moment, but this lets you reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a supporter card, put it into your hand. So you don't know what supporter you're going to get, but it could come in handy, you never know. So I've got 2 of those in the deck. I've got 2 Super Rods to shuffle back 3 cards in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy, which could get back some energy I'm going to be losing. I've got 1 switch card, kind of like the escape rope, except the escape rope forces the opponent to switch as well. Switch, of course, just lets me do a switch on my side. That could be one way to get Parasect out of the active spot, preserving its energy, instead of having to discard 2 for the retreat cost. And that's going to be 20 more damage for each energy Parasect maintains to power up Gallade's attack. Moving down, we have a couple of Trainer's Mails, looking at the top 4 cards of your deck and choosing any trainer cards you find there to put into your hand, except for another Trainer's Mail. Could help me speed through and get some more, like I could use that to find a random receiver. Random receiver could find Wally just when I need it. Might not happen that way, but we'll have to see how things play out. I've got 2 Ultra Balls, discard 2 cards from hand and search for any Pokemon in the deck and take it into hand. And the last items are a couple of Versus Seekers to bring back some supporters. First supporter is going to be Bridget, looking through the deck for 3 basic Pokemon, or 1 EX if I had one, and putting them right onto the bench. I've got Lysandre, of course, forcing the opponent to switch their Pokemon around, and you choose who comes up off the bench. I have got a Pokemon Center Lady for healing purposes, in addition to Gardevoir's ability. I have got 2 Skylas, because I always love using Skyla to find any trainer cards you want from the deck. Could be the Stadium card I'm going to tell you in a minute. It could be any of the items that I need to make use of. I love using Skyla. I've got 2 Wallies here. Normally I'll only include 1, but I might need to have better chance to evolve up into higher form, so I've got 2 Wallies here to make use of that. A couple of Fairy Gardens, so if I do attach one of these Fairy Energy to my active Pokemon, I can retreat for free, thereby maintaining the energy and not losing it for the retreat cost, and keeping 20 damage extra for the Powerful Storm of Gallade. The last 2 cards in the deck, 2 Scorched Earths. This is why I've got Fire and Fighting energy in here. Once during each player's turn, you can discard one of those energies from your hand and draw 2 additional cards. One of my favorite ways for draw support and speeding up your deck in any deck that I put together. So that is a quick go-over of the 60 cards for what I'm calling the, what do I call this? Energy Storm, I think? The Energy Storm deck. Got 15 Pokemon, 31 trainers, and 14 energy cards. Let's see how well this kind of a crazy idea fares in this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match as we get into some battles right now. Alright, Energy Storm going up against Carabas 7441, Grass, Darkness, and Psychic deck. Apparently we've got the advantage. I'm not sure how that works. I haven't even used this deck yet. And in testing, mixed results, we'll say. Waiting for the opponent to load the game. Now they're calling for the coin flip. I would rather go first, because if on my second turn of the game I can get Parasect in play, Ooh, I get to choose. I'm going to go first. If I can get Parasect in play on my first turn to attack, I can start attaching energy. I have Wally. What I'm probably going to want to do, I'm going to drop a Paras here. I'm going to wait and see what I can find with the energy, or not energy, the random receiver. Let's drop another Paras, though, in case the first one gets knocked out. And let's see what they start with. I got a Chespin. Alright, first things first, random receiver. My supporter in question is going to be a very useful Bridget. I'll take Bridget. Drop her down, get 3 more basics. I'll go for all 3 Ralts. There's 1 more in the deck, though. Okay, so next turn I can evolve using Wally to get Parasect. Let's drop a Grass Energy onto the Paras. Even if it does get knocked out, I can bring the other Paras up. I still have an energy in hand to attach to use Colorful Spores. Wally into Parasect. Watch both be prized. Wouldn't that be something? I doubt that's going to be the case, though. So they can hit me with a Pin Missile. Powerful 10 damage. So this is actually a very, 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 very ideal way to start. We're going to Wally up into Parasect. There you are. Onto the active one. And who do I want to start turning into Gallade? I guess one of these 2 Ralts here. Let's go for the middle one. So what I do here now is Colorful Spores. I'm going to choose 3 of my Pokemon in play. Let's go for Ralts, and let's get this Paras, actually. So the first one comes with Ralts. We're going to grab you a Fairy Energy. Get a Psychic Energy onto this Ralts. And we'll put a Grass onto the Paras. I'm not going to call for the Fire or Fighting Energy, because if I can get Scorched Earth in play, I'd rather be able to have the Fire or Fighting Energy in hand to discard using Scorched Earth. So, for as long as this Parasect can stay active, I kind of need to keep using Colorful Spores just to draw as much energy out as possible. By doing so, not only am I going to be powering up the eventual powerful Storm attack, but the more basic energy I take out of the deck every turn, the less there is for me to draw from the top every single turn of the game. So, I'm going to be able to draw more beneficial cards by limiting the energy in the deck. And they're going to Scrunch. That is fine. We're not going to attack you. We have a Versus Seeker for another Wally. That is good, definitely. Let's grab Wally here. And let's turn one of our Ralts into a Kirlia. Let's go with a Fairy-type Kirlia, just because. And we'll turn this one because it has enough energy to attack with. Alright, so I'm going to hang on to the Fire Energy in hand. I'll instead go for the Colorful Spores. We'll choose this Ralt, and this Paras. So we'll grab a Psychic for you. Let's grab the nice Espeon Silhouette Energy for this Ralt. We'll grab a Fairy Energy for this Ralt, and let's put another Grass onto... Ooh, wait a minute. We're out of Grass Energy. So I'm going to choose... let's go for the nice Generation-style Fighting Energy on Paras. Now, I might not need Draw Support if I can get all the energy I need in play. Because next turn, I can evolve into Gallade. I could probably just retreat the Parasect for 2 energy and get the knockout, but I'm going to let this play out a little bit longer. I want to show the strategy off a little bit more, as long as the match continues. So Steven is played. Find a supporter and a basic energy. They can't get enough energy attached to Quilladin that way to use Woodhammer, which is almost a knockout on Parasect. But are we going to see evolution into Chestnut? Well, they do have Wally. They can evolve next turn if they don't currently have Chestnut in hand. Okay, there's enough for the Woodhammer. So we're at 80 damage. It takes 20 to itself. Now, as I say, I could easily retreat, bring up Gallade, and get the knockout, but I'm going to let this play out a little bit longer just to see if I can show off the strategy a little bit more. So I'm going to drop the Scorched Earth, discard the Fire. Show me some good cards. We got another Kirlia. You know what? Let's go with... Let's go with this Ralts. And simply put, we're going to go with the Colorful Spores, Ralts, and Paras. So we only got... Oh wait, we got Psychic here too, so we'll put a Fire Energy onto the Kirlia. Put a Psychic onto the Ralts. And at this point, I'm going to choose to not put anything on that Paras, because I want to keep that Fighting Energy for possible draw support. Now, if they don't get anything on their bench, basically this is going to be it, because if they knock out Parasect, I'm going to bring up the Gallade and just go for the knockout. So Wally is evolving into Chestnut. And they have a powerful 150 HP, but with 20 damage being done for each energy that my team has, that is 2, 4, 6, 9, that's 180 damage using the powerful Storm. Now come on, get something on the bench. I want to keep this match going. Anything? It doesn't look like they have the option for a benched Pokemon. I wonder if they think that they can win this with just Chestnut. So we're back to 160, but as I say, with the amount of energy I have in play, we're going to be doing 180. So that's going to be it. You can't handle that one. So what prize do they take? Tierno. So I think we're going to call it a game here. You get the idea of how this plays out, though. I'll just go for the powerful Storm. One-hit KO. And that's that. Unfortunately, they have no Pokemon on their bench, so that wins me the game. And you saw the idea in play. Get as much energy out as you can, and Gallade can do some powerful damage with powerful Storm. Just like that. Alright, we are going up against Landtip 95 with a water deck. I wonder what kind of strategy we'll see. Probably some Pokemon EX, of course. So I want to go first, if possible. Looks like we're going to be going first. Let's take that first turn for ourselves. See if we can get a Parasect in play on our second turn to make use of the Colorful Spores. Not off that hand just yet. Oh, we see some Water Shuriken and Gyarados. Alright. Give me something I can work with. That's not the best thing to work with. I've got Scorched Earth in hand, though, plus Fire Energy, so I could possibly draw myself a Paras. It could happen. Now, they're going to start off with... Well, we're not going to know yet, of course, but we're going to see a face-down card they're going to start with, because they do have a basic in their hand this time. Fortunately, both sides had a mulligan, therefore neither side gets to draw a card. I find I don't always take the cards. Well, I guess it depends on the deck. If I have a really confident deck that I'm working with, hey, Paras, then I can go ahead and draw, you know, if I, what am I trying to say? If I have a deck that I'm confident in, I don't always take the extra cards, because I figure I can get whatever I need off the top 7 and, you know, work with that. Okay, random receiver. What do you have for me? A Lysandre. That doesn't help. But I can evolve into Parasect next turn. So what I want to get is energy. I was hoping that the Scorched Earth would have given me at least some sort of way to find energy, so I could power up the Paras to go for a Colorful Spores in the next turn. Sadly, that's not what happened, but I have an Evo Soda to evolve Ralts up into Kirlia. Next turn I can play Gallade. So basically, all I need off the top card of the deck right now is going to be an energy, or a way to get energy. Skyla, Professor's Letter, something like that. We got ourselves a Splash Energy added to the Manaphy-EX. We have an energy in hand now. Alright, so, Parasect. Let's evolve up into Kirlia. I haven't used a supporter yet, of course, but let's go ahead and play Parasect. Just to slow things down, I'm going to bring up the Magikarp. It does have free retreat using the Manaphy-EX's ability if they attach a water energy, but if they attach a water energy to Magikarp, it's going to take longer to power up the Manaphy-EX to do some damage. Let's go for the Colorful Spores. Choose Parasect and then Kirlia. So we're going to put a Grass-type energy on Parasect. And for the Kirlia, let's just grab a Fairy. We have we have an option to get a Fairy Garden in play at some point, and that could be free retreat. 120 HP. Now, if the Manaphy-EX comes up, which I could make happen with the Versus Seeker, if I flip a heads on the X-Scissor, that's a one-hit KO on Manaphy-EX. But I suppose it doesn't really help because they have the Splash Energy on it. But at least they would lose the Splash Energy. Okay, so Gyarados is powering up. That is very useful. I'll grab that, grab a couple of... Well, I'll get Fire and Fighting into hand. Now, which one should I use first? Which one's going to be the better luck, basically? I'm going to go with the Fire. Did it help? Not particularly, but I can go ahead and Should I try to thin the deck and take a Gallade out of here? I'm going to do that. Although I have a Gallade in hand, by taking one out of the deck, that is less chance for me to draw that off the top and give me a better card possibly next turn. So we're going to put an energy onto the Gallade. Let's go with another Colorful Spores, I think. It's probably the best bet. Okay, we'll give Parasect an energy. We'll give a Gallade here. Parasect will give a Fairy energy too. And the Gallade, let's go with a Psychic. So it looks like all I have left in the deck is Fire and Fighting for draw support using Scorched Earth. I can retreat Parasect. It's going to take 2 energy. Now, ideally, if I could find a switch or my escape rope, I could bring the Gallade up. We're going to be doing 120 damage. Plus 1 more if I add 1 more energy. So I could one-shot the Gyarados if I manage to find one of my switching cards. Or if I could find a Fairy Garden. Now, I only have access to Lysandre with Versus Seeker. Okay. So it's going to do 60 to me. That's fine. Let's see what I find off the top here. I like that. Let me, first of all, see what we can get with the Scorched Earth, though. I was kind of hoping for an energy. So here's where things get kind of interesting. I'm going to drop 3 more basics to the bench. I suppose I'll go with the Paris. What should I do here? Let me think. I'm looking at Lysandre, really useful in the discard pile. I could escape rope, but they have free retreat. I'm going to go ahead and get 3 more energy out using Colorful Spores. Choose these 3 on the bench. So the first Pokemon's going to get... Doesn't really matter that much, I suppose. Let's go ahead and grab just a Fairy energy here. Go with a Fighting, and I think this is all the energy I have in the deck, too. Now we're going to lose, of course, the Parasect, but at least we have 6 energy still in play after we lose Parasect. And with 1 more energy, I can one-shot that Gyarados, which I can bring active with either the Escape Rope or Lysandre. So we're not in that bad of a situation. Healing Scarf. Well, it's not going to help if we can one-hit KO that thing. So down goes our Parasect. But I do believe that's all the energy that we have in the deck, because look how much is already gone. Well, we can at least one-shot KO the Manaphy with what we have in play right now. Another Parasect that could come in handy. I think I'm just going to go for the KO on the Manaphy right now. As I said, they get Splash Energy, though. They can just bring it back to hand. But that is the best way to go. Of course, I could just do 80 and switch them out, but it doesn't really matter. Let's just knock this thing up, get 2 prizes. Come on, we need something. We find a Kirlia and a Super Rod. That is good. So this thing can do a massive 80. Okay. We can heal 60 of that off using the Pokemon Center Lady, though. I'm just going to basically retreat the Gyarados, are they? Interesting. So definitely want to keep that thing safe. Not bad. Last is special. Draw 1 card for each basic Pokemon on my bench. And I got a notification on my phone. We'll just I was going to say turn in silence. We're going to silence that down. Let's go ahead and drop a Kirlia. Let's go for another Kirlia. That's a Ralts. Let's grab Kirlia instead. Okay, so the best thing here, I'm going to Super Rod and shuffle back in a bunch of the energy that we have lost. Let's go with these 3 here. Because what I'm planning to do right now, I'm going to Escape Rope, I'm going to bring up Parasect, and start getting more energy in play. Because as I say, I do have Versus Seeker in hand. I can bring up that Gyarados anytime I want, and Gallade can destroy it using the Powerful Storm. The question is, which do they bring up? I'd say probably Gyarados is their best bet because they have Water Energy on it already to be able to free retreat using the Aqua Tube. Yep, thought so. Parasect comes up next. Let's just go for the Colorful Spores, choosing these 3 Pokemon. Ralts, you're going to get a Psychic. Kirlia will give you a Fairy. And Gallade, take that last energy, Grass type. Alright, go ahead, knock out Parasect. I kind of want you to do that. Because then we take the Gyarados down with 1 hit. Just don't play Lysandre and bring up Gallade and knock that out in 1 hit, because that would be kind of detrimental to what I have planned right now. Of course, there is a slim chance Gyarados won't knock out Parasect. Very slim. Oh, Lapras comes up. So they're not going for the knockout. Huh, I kind of need to find a switch card now. I don't think I played it yet, or did I? I played the Escape Rope. Nope, no switch. I basically just need to get some retreat on Parasect and bring it back. But I don't think I have any more energy to do so. An energy retrieval would be amazing right about now. Does Wally help us? Well, I can thin the deck at least. Let's grab ourselves a Gardevoir. Here, let's do the funny thing. Let's evolve the Psychic-type Ralts into Gardevoir. And let's now evolve the Fairy-type... Sorry, not Ralts, Kirlia. The Fairy-type Kirlia into Psychic-type Gallade. But I do believe that's all we can do. I don't think there's any energy left. Well, hang on. What do we have for support? Yeah, just like Lysandre and Bridget. Wally, of course, but that's not going to help. Let's just go Colorful Spores. Let's choose the Parasect as one of the Pokemon. No energy. No energy. No energy. Nothing happens. Huh. Dive Ball, okay. Now they probably know that they can't bring up the Gyarados until they're able to take down my Gallade. Because if they lose Gyarados, so much of their offensive presence is just gone. We see Frogadier with water duplicates. Lapras can retreat for free. Is it about to do so? No. Error in running. So what does that do? Look for a trainer card? 1 trainer card, I think, yes. And what one do they go for? Okay. Now we need to switch around. Thank you, Skyla. Find me a switch card, please. I'll take that. Let's switch into the... Well, either Gallade could actually work. Let's go to the one with the least energy. Keep the one on the bench with the most. Switch. Hello. Whoops. I kind of forgot that I need to use Lysandre. And I've already used my supporter. Oh, I was so excited. Anyway, I can get a knockout here, though. So Lapras falls. Now, we will lose 2 energy using this Gallade. If they're smart, they're going to Lysandre out the other Gallade. And do some added damage there. Okay, energy retrieval will bring back some of their water energy. That is fine. Don't do the smart thing. Don't bring up my other Gallade with the more energy. You're going to let me get this KO, right? No, you're not. Like I said, there's a slim chance we could survive this. But they got just enough heads for the knockout. Really? Okay. We can do 100. Oh, now we get the Fairy Garden. Isn't that swell? So if we can do 100 damage, we can at least take out Frogadier. Let's do it. Let's get a knockout. I kind of want revenge. Goodbye, Frogadier. Now, show me a Super Rod. That'd be amazing right about now. Or Trainer's Mail. that's just as good if I can actually find Super Rod. So if they flip again, one more heads. Oh, if they get 2 more heads, they actually get the knockout. Thank you, game. This is fun. What can we do with damage here? 50. That doesn't help us one little bit. But let's see what Trainer's Mail finds us. Well, I'm going to thin the deck first of all. Grab nothing, because there's of course no energy, but Trainer's Mail. I guess. Energy Retrieval. I'm going to grab a Grass to power up for the X Scissor. And let's just grab a Fighting Energy. I can use that for draw support. Am I going to? No, because I kind of need to power up for the attack next turn. But, in fact, just so I'm not tempted to use it, I'm going to drop that Fairy Garden. Let's go with an X Scissor. Flip me a heads, thanks. Yeah, of course. I'm going to flip tails. The opponent's going to flip nothing but heads, it seems like. I'm going to get tails. Again, thank you, game. I love this. But you see the idea, at least, though. Really? You're gonna give the opponent 3 out of 5 heads. You're gonna give me tails. I love this game. It's so fun. It's so fun. Let's shuffle back in some energies here. Doesn't really matter which ones I click. I'm gonna click randomly because I'm gonna drop the Scorched Earth. We're gonna use the draw support to draw 2 more cards. Not one of them's gonna be an energy card. Just watch. Actually, both are. Alright. Let's do a whopping 50 damage to the Manaphy. Because I can. Okay. You just gotta flip, how much? 1 head? I think you still need to flip 2 heads to get the knockout. But you are well overdue for a lot of tails, my friend. And you are actually using an attack called Aqua Tail, are you not? You are. You notice every single time they happened to flip exactly how many heads they needed? If the game wasn't already computerized and there's no real way to affect it, I would say there's something suspicious about that. But anyway, you saw the idea in play. I didn't manage to make it pull through, unfortunately, but just boosting your energy acceleration and doing more damage with the... Oh, wait a minute. Not quite. But boosting your damage output with Powerful Storm and getting all the energy in play as soon as you can. Gallade can be pretty powerful if the player uses it right. But that is the match. So that is going to be a wrap for this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match, trying to show off the power of Powerful Storm of Gallade, boosting energy acceleration on your side of the field, and trying to put out as much damage as you can, doing 20 damage for each energy attached to your Pokemon. And the idea is there. I wasn't able to play it out super perfectly well, unfortunately, but fortunately you can, well, I was going to say fortunately you can do this yourself, but hopefully you can sort of get this idea going for yourself. And if anyone out there has any suggestions how to streamline this deck and make it a little bit more consistent, any other ways you have for energy acceleration, just leave that in a comment down below so that if anyone wants to sort of recreate this idea for themselves, your suggestions could help them out. Now, admittedly, a simple way to do this would be put more Pokemon, or not more, put some Pokemon EX in the deck, basics, and Max Elixir could be a way to do that as well. 4 Max Elixirs could possibly, if you're lucky, accelerate 4 energy onto your Pokemon on the bench each turn, or at least in one turn, and immediately Gallade's attack is powered up by 80 if all 4 Max Elixirs are successful. And other ways, like I said before, the magnetic circuit of Magnezone could do a nice energy acceleration. You could play Clement to get 4 lightning energy out of the deck, attach those using the magnetic circuit. That's another 80 damage already attached. So there are many ways you can sort of speed up your energy attachments and do more damage using Gallade and the Powerful Storm. But, as I say, that is it for this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match. Feel free to leave a like down below if you enjoyed this, and if you sort of enjoyed the deck strategy, which, as I say, I didn't really play it out as well as I could have, unfortunately, but I suppose something I said I can improve this with would be more draw support, like a whole new hand of cards. I could probably take out the random receivers or one of the Wallies and put in, say, N or Judge or something like that. I could probably take the Trainer's Mails out too, possibly. I don't use those that much, but they do come in handy in a pinch sometimes, unless you get nothing but, for example, Super Rod off the top with no discarded cards yet. But as I say, that is the end of this week's match. So next week, I'm hoping to have videos featuring some of you folks out there, the viewers, participating in battles against me in a best 2 out of 3 using the next deck that I'm going to put together. So as I say, I'm going to do a video and a tweet on Sunday, which is January 15th coming up. And I'll let you know when I'm online looking for some battles. As I say, around 3 o'clock, I'm thinking Atlantic time. So if you're not sure what time that'll be in your time zone, feel free to check the time zones and see what time it would be exactly. I believe 2 o'clock would be Eastern, 1 o'clock would be, is it Central? Noon time would be Mountain, and I guess 11 a.m. for Pacific time. I think that's how the time zones work. But again, just watch for the video or tweet, and you'll see what I'm looking for competitors against the deck I'm going to assemble for next week. And my username is Dotman64. Feel free to add me on as a friend here, and basically leave a comment down below. And not in this video, but in the video that I put up, leave a comment or respond to my tweet and let me know what your username is so I know who I'm battling, basically. And as a little sneak peek, next week we're going to focus on a Pokemon that another viewer, Lightning Malittens, has asked me to try to make a deck around. It is going to be Zygarde-EX. It is a pretty decent Pokemon, 190 HP for a basic a basic Pokemon EX. That's actually pretty good HP. I think most of them have, say, about 180 maximum, 170 sometimes, but 190 is pretty good HP, plus it has a lot of powerful damage with its attacks. Land's Pulse, Cell Storm, and Land's Wrath. I've got a kind of interesting strategy, or an interesting technique for next week, which hopefully I'll be able to pull off quite well. We'll see what happens. Anyway, with all that, I want to say thanks for checking out today's Pokemon TCG live online match, and come on back later on today for another episode of Pokemon Moon as we continue exploring the Haina Desert, trying to find our way through to the Ruins of Abundance, and hopefully we'll be able to make it there by the end of the episode. With that, I want to say thanks once again for checking out today's Pokemon TCG live online match. Professor Chaz is now signing off, and I'll catch you next time.